You know how Marvel and DC and Universal Studios or Universal, whatever, are all trying to make a cinematic universe nowadays? Well, I heard Hasbro's trying to make one too. And, well, probably tell by the title of the video, I plan out the entire Hasbro Cinematic Universe, at least from stuff that I know anyways. Other stuff like Mask, I don't know what that is, so I can't really describe that, but this will be basically the more popular Hasbro things I want to say. So here's my Hasbro Cinematic Universe plan. This may seem weird, but anyways, Bumblebee, the first movie, the movie that came out fairly recently, I want to say, lands on Earth and the events of Bumblebee unfolds. So the Decepticons travel towards Earth because they got the transmission from the Decepticons because that were on Earth and in Bumblebee because they managed to get it just in time. And John Cena's character and America realize there are other species in the universe and they can't always, like the governments cannot always be fighting, say, one battle and then for another battle just because everywhere. So they form the G.I. Joe. And they are tasked basically with protecting Earth, and they even ask the Autobots if they wish to join the G.I. Joe. But they will not kill or injure humans, and then Cobra comes around, and again, the Autobots refuse to fight them because, well, they're human, and they say humans have to deal with their own problem, with humans themselves. So G.I. Joe fight Cobra, and they realize they can't fight Decepticons because they're way too strong and way too powerful, and all the way across America, the Power Rangers forms, but before that, obviously, they attack, and, Zordon says, I want teenagers with attitude, and they transport the Power Rangers over there, and they get the power of Power Rangers, and alien species come towards Earth after years of exile. Basically, Lord Zed and Meteor Repulsa come back after 65 million years of being gone. Millions of years ago, the Predacons helped Lord Zed and Rita try to take out the Zeo Crystal while the Predacons were hiding Energon, different cyber-training weapons on planet Earth. And they actually do try to take out the Zeo Crystal, not realizing the Zeo Crystal is actually the heart of Unicron, the Chaos Bringer. It was literally the heart of him. His heart. It was so massive to it. Anyways, the Joes can't deal with them because they are fighting Cobra, and they can't be at two places at once, and the Autobots refuse to fight them because they only want to fight Decepticons because that is literally their problem. That is their war, they have to fight that one. And, this fact they're actually fighting them in general, like, what if they're fighting, Lord Zed, and Decepticons are out doing something else, you know what I mean? So, they have to stay focused on the Decepticons and Decepticons alone. And, yeah, it makes it hard to fight them. So, after that, they fight off Meteor Repulsa, and the G.I. Joes actually try to recruit the Power Rangers to be a part of the Joes because they see that their power is really good, and hell, even Zordon is actually brought in to be part of the G.I. Joe to help them, and he's weirded out, but he's an alien, so he wanted to learn more about this G.I. Joe, and yeah, pretty much. And Decepticons, at the same time, were actually developing a weapon with Dark Energon to make a weapon that actually transports the Autobots to a different dimension, so they can be rid of them. They can conquer Earth, and they be rid of them, pretty much. Unfortunately, this doesn't go according to plan, and some of the Joe's soldiers get transported to a different dimension, called, oddly enough, Eternia, and then they meet He-Man. They help He-Man fight Skeletor, and as a token of their gratitude, he says that he would help them whenever they wanted to because their world was at war for so many years, and they said help them. They did say they needed help in their dimension, and he agrees to come back to try to help them. And they use the weapon that transported them there to get back to Earth, pretty much. And he actually doesn't join them, but he does help the G.I. Joe fight and try to finish off Cobra. But Cobra joins Megatron, and the Decepticons and the Autobots realize they have to help them. I got mixed up. Anyways, try to help them, and so they do. And Cobra is defeated, but Decepticons are still around. At the same time, Lord Zed sends out one of his minions named Grum to attack Earth with the Power Rangers and the G.I. Joe help the Power Rangers and G.I. Joe join forces, and they defeat him, and Lord Zed himself tries to attack Earth, and then G.I. Joe and Power Rangers again team up and fight him, and actually lose. Lord Zed takes over where the Power Rangers actually come from. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. And the Decepticons actually want to help Lord Zed, but only to get what they want. They want the Zeo Crystal, pretty much. And they actually get the power of the power of Zeo, and fight Lord Zed and win, obviously, because they're stronger now. And when the Decepticons, realize that Lord Zed has lost, they say, you know what, screw off, we're out of here. Decepticons try to find the closest point to the Zeo Crystal, and they find it, and they try to pull it out. They literally try to pull it out. But unknowingly, they actually awaken Unicron. Because it's Unicron's heart, and Unicron actually feels that. So literally, they're the cause of Unicron coming back to life. The G.I. Joes, the Power Rangers, the He-Man, and even the Autobots and Decepticons are all freaking out because dark energon starts pouring out of the mountain, out of volcanoes and stuff, and because it's literally his life source is his blood, so they start literally pouring out of like volcanoes, and the huge storms start appearing all over the world, rain starts hail and rain start falling in Egypt, and the Arctic starts to melt a little bit, and the world is basically gone into chaos. And the Power Rangers, the Autobots, Decepticons, G.I. Joe, and He-Man all join together and try to fight Unicron. And Optimus, unfortunately, sacrifices himself, or not himself, but the Matrix of Leadership, and he loses memory and thinks Megatron is Megatronus, and his old friend, his old brother, whatever. And Optimus actually joins the Decepticons because he thinks the Autobots are really the enemy because Megatron manipulated his mind, and thinks they're the enemy. And the Autobots and the Joes and He-Man, Power Rangers all try to get Optimus back to to be Optimus again, and they do. Some weird things they do, and actually manage to, in that same time, beat the Decepticons. And only survivors that are really there are Starscream, Soundwave, Shockwave, and Predaking. If you don't know, he's literally like a huge Predacon, Decepticon, dragon thing. And they travel back to Cybertron, and they try to. Optimus Prime sacrifices himself to reignite Primus's spark and literally bring him back to life, and Cybertron is flourishing again, and yeah. But before they leave, they actually give Earth some technology, like Cybertronian technology, and they actually become way more advanced. Humanity is beyond advanced. Right around this time, Megatron, when they come back to Cybertron, Megatron comes back to life after he dies when they were fighting him. He manages to turn good, and Starscream gets away. Cybertron and Predaking actually gets his own section to bring back the Predacons, his species. And back on Earth, the G.I. Joe become obviously more advanced, and then it kicks off Power Rangers Lost Galaxy and Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue and Power Rangers in Space and all that. From a whole excuse me. And in this time, they form a whole Power Rangers Republic kind of thing called SPD, or Space Patrol Delta. And the G.I. Joe become a division of them. They start working for the government, and G.I. Joe become open. They're finally an open thing. And in this time, G.I. Joe becomes open. G.I. Joe becomes an open thing. Everybody knows about them, and then obviously people go into space, start putting space stations up there, and yeah, and they get so advanced they can actually travel to Cybertron and meet long-lost friends. And and He-Man actually goes back to Eternia and lives his life there. And when they go in space, they actually meet their greatest foe, Trakina. I can't pronounce her name. She's the villain of the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy series. Her name, I know her name is not. It's not. I can't pronounce it. And they be here, and that's pretty much where it ends. That this is not it's not like a timeline. This is more just the events, the way how I think it should go about it. What events should happen before the next thing happens, if you know what I mean. This isn't really a timeline. This is more just my plan, I guess you can say, because Marvel, they planned this crap years before. So this is sort of like my plan for this world, but that's at least on the stuff that I know of, like Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, and Transformers. That's the only things I know. If there's other ones there, maybe they can plan them out, but Hasbro, take into consideration. Just saying. This is Jason Chaos signing out. Yeah, this is me signing out. Take consideration, like, subscribe, hell, even share this. Maybe Hasbro will see us, and who knows what happens after that. Anyways, this is me signing out. Goodbye to all of you. Yeah.